In this video, I will be showing you how you're going to attach the petals to the head of your plushie. So what will you need? Of course, all of the petals and the plushie itself, but also a needle. I recommend one like this with a bigger top. It's a lifesaver for chenille yarn. And lastly, just some scissors. So the first thing you will have to do is decide if you want the flowers to go from one side of the head to the other, or if you want them to go all the way around. So just to show you, this is what it looks like if the flowers go all the way around. But you can also decide to make it like this, when the flowers will just go from the left to the right. Now, if you do them from the left to the right, you will have seen in the pattern that you need 8 petals. But if you want to do them all the way around the head, you will need 11 of them. Now, first I will explain to you how to sew them on if you're going to do them from the left to the right. So the first thing you're gonna do is kind of see where you want the petals to go around the head. So if you look at the top, right there in the middle is where you close the head. From there on, like if you turn your plushie to the side, you're gonna draw an imaginary line in your head that goes all the way to the plushie. That's the line that you're gonna be sewing the petals on. So they will go like this, there, all the way to the bottom. And then same thing on exactly the other side. Now, personally, I'm not that good at sewing things, like I will just be upfront, and I don't mind if it's like a little bit wonky since it's a handmade product. But if you care about it and you want to make sure that your line is neat and symmetrical, I would advise you to actually place some stitch markers. So like place one here, 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 so you can kind of keep track of your line. Now when you choose the other option for the petals to go all the way around the head, you still want them to be like right there in the middle on the top of the head, but you don't want to go straight down because you want them to line up nicely with the petals in the front. So actually, as you can see with this one, it's a little bit hard to show you. It doesn't go straight down like the petals, they go more in a diagonal, so it becomes a circle. So when doing this method, I like to actually start at the bottom here, because this way you can kind of see where they have to line up at the side to go all the way to the middle. So now that we have discussed this, you can choose which of those two methods you would like to do and attach your first petal to the needle. Now I will be showing you how to attach them to the head, and I will show you how to do this method to go all the way around. But attaching the petal to the head is the same way with both of them. You just have to keep in mind that with one, you start at the side and you go straight up to there and then straight down the other side. And with this one that I will be showing you, we're gonna go all the way around. Now, you should have left a tail on your petals. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find the row that I would like to insert my petals on. So I'm gonna go first row, second row, and then the third row, I wanna go in between those second and third rows. So somewhere like this. So you're just gonna put that needle through there and get all of your tail out. And I turn my plushie. Then you will go with your needle into your second stitch of the petal. Thread that yarn through again. And then you're gonna go right into the stitch next to the one that you just did. So when you're inserting the needle from this side, it's not actually gonna be between the second and the third you will insert your needle, but you're gonna work from the opposite side. So you're gonna put your needle in between the third and fourth row, actually, like this, and then thread it through there again. And then I'll just turn my plushie around again. Once again, we will be going through the petal, just the petal. My yarn is stuck somewhere. Wait a second. This is being annoying. Yes, there, I got it. And I will then go into the next stitch. So again, in between the second and the third, insert, go through. And then you have your first petal attached. So quite simple actually. You can make a few more stitches just going back and forth on that petal in that same row, just to make sure that it's attached more firmly. So that's just personally what I like to do. So once that's done, we're going to do in the second panel, and I will attach this the exact same way. You will see the stitches next to it. That's where we're going to put this one. And for the petals that are attached like right to the middle one, so the one to the right and one to the left, I'm still gonna go pretty just in a straight line, just to the right and on the other side to the left. And after that one, we're gonna go upwards. But this one is just still straight line to the right. So you're going to see where the next stitch is next to this petal. Again, in between the second and third row, going in there to attach it. And you're now just going to do the exact same thing that you did with this one. Turn up through the petal, going from the other side. So once that's done and you've attached the second petal, what we're gonna do is we want this gap to be closed, because otherwise the petals, especially on the top of the head, they will become very floppy and you will see like empty space between them. And personally, I just don't think it's very pretty. So we're gonna close this up. Now what you're gonna do, this tail that I just told you to leave, you're going to put that on your needle. Then bring that yarn up to the last stitch of the petal. So I just bring it to there. And then actually it's very simple. We're just gonna go back and forth between this one, and then back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So usually I do like the first 3 or 4 stitches. I kind of just like to look in between. Do I think they're stitched up far enough? Do I want them a bit more? It's all up to personal preference. Now, like I said, you should have your tail onto your needle, and you're just gonna go into the first stitch of the second petal, and you're going to bring the thread all the way through. So now we're on the top side of the petals, and you're going to bring your needle back into that stitch on the first petal, and then thread it all the way. And you've now closed up the first stitch. So we're going to be repeating this process by now just going into the second stitch. On the top side again, bring it back into the first petal. And that second stitch is closed. Now I'm already seeing, I think they're already closed up pretty far, so I'm only going to do a third stitch. So again, here's your yarn. You're going to into the third stitch from the bottom, thread it through, then go to the top of your petals, bring it into the third stitch on this petal as well. And then these are all done. Now I personally just leave the tails for now. And in the end, when I'm all done, I will put some knots in them and then weave them in. You can also do it as you go, which is probably a better plan, but I leave them all for the end. So now we will attach the third petal, and if we're just gonna look at it from the side, the third petal will be attached going up, but it's not gonna be like a straight up. You're going to put it on a diagonal, so there's plenty of space left for the face. You don't want it to be all the way closed off. You actually want it to look more like a flower bud and have a nice circle left in the middle. So if you go up in a diagonal, that's going to create that space. The way we sew them on is exactly the same again, so go ahead and... So I have my third petal done. This is what it looks like from the side, and this is what it looks like from the front. Now again, we will have to stitch these two together, but I'm going to actually attach all of my petals to the head first, and then when I've done them like all around, I will use the tails to stitch them all together. I just showed you how to do it, so you can obviously choose to just do it as you go, but I personally just like to do the placement first and then stitch them all together. So with the first two petals, I showed you how to place them like this and go in between two rows, right? But now we're going up. So instead of going in between a row like this, we're going to do it sideways and go in between a row like this. So you're going to take your petal, attach the yarn, see where the last stitch is, and you're gonna go right in there, out the other side, and attach it. Then you're going to go back into your petal in the next stitch. Then again, in the next stitch in the head, don't forget to do it sideways. Get that yarn through, go back to the other side, get it into the petal again. And then last stitch into the head again. This is what it looks like so far. And now you can kind of see what I meant before with the kind of like gaps happening. That's exactly why we're going to be stitching them closed in the end. So it becomes more like this instead of the big gap. And now we're just going to go attach one more, two more, three more, and the third is right on top of the head. So I am now working on the petal on top of the head, like this one. And I just want to mention that we have 11 petals, which is an uneven number, which means that it's not going to be like one petal exactly through the middle of the head. It's actually going to be like a little bit over the middle. So I just thought that was important to mention so that you know if yours isn't exactly in like the middle of the top of the head, then you actually did it correctly. So don't worry about that. That's how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be more like here. Once that's done, this is what it should look like. And like I said before, don't forget to actually close the space between each petal. And now you can do whatever you like. So you can do just the first two stitches so it closes up a little bit, or you can go up all the way. It's just up to your preference, but I do the first three stitches. And now we'll be moving on to the other side of the head. So what you're gonna do is you can either start from the bottom and go up, or from the top and go down. It doesn't really matter. Just remember this first one, like next to the middle petal on the bottom, it's just gonna be straight to the side, just like we did on the other side. And the other ones are going to go in that circle around there. So go ahead and sew those petals to the head, and I will be back with the result to kind of show you how we're going to get rid of all of the tails. And this is what it should look like in the end. Now you will notice that you will have a lot of tails in the back, and I will just quickly show you how I get rid of those. So what I'd like to do is take your tail, attach it to a needle, and you want to bring this yarn close to another tail. So what you're going to do is put the needle into the flower petal and go all the way across to where you can find another one of your tails. So I'm going to this one, which is right there. And you want to make sure that you put it in the exact same stitch. Now you're going to thread that yarn through. You will take those two tails and just tie a knot. And then tie another knot. Now I will take both of those tails onto my needle, attach it, insert my needle into one of the petals and bring it to wherever I want, just somewhere else in one of the petals, so the yarn is the same color, just anywhere you want. And then I just cut it off. So do a little cut, and you might have like a little end poking out, and you're just going to use your needle to push that to the inside. And the tail should be gone. So you're going to do this for all of the tails, and then it's done. Now we still have to attach the arms, which now that we're here, I will quickly show you. This is where I attach them, just a little bit behind the petals. And this is what it looks like from the front. And with this one, because the petals go from side to side, I actually attach them right in front of the petal, like right in front of it. So the arms on the plushie will be a little bit more forward if you do the petals from side to side. And that's it. I hope you found this helpful and enjoyed the pattern. Bye!